Hello everyone and welcome back to the 343 Football Podcast. As always, it's your host Jaffa and I'm joined again by Ali, Daud and Qudama. How's everyone doing?
Yeah, not bad. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad.
Good, thank you.
Yeah, it's been a decent week, and I mean, obviously we've been doing the Champions League reviews. Last week there was a lot more notable matches. I think the four fixtures that played out in midweek, you know, it's still the Champions League. There wasn't as many big storylines, but let's dive straight into them, starting with Tuesday's games. So last week I gave props to Ali for the Porto prediction, and I gave props to Qudama for the Dortmund prediction. I'm going to give props to myself this week for saying that Chelsea was going to beat Atletico Madrid, and they did do. So that's
stung.
That's 3 out of 4 people in the podcast getting a result right. We're still waiting on Dow to get something right in football. We'll see how that happens. And yeah, I mean, to be honest with you guys, I know that Atletico Madrid are top of the league and had an amazing start, weren't conceding too many goals, and they've got the Suarez factor. But there's always a criticism of Simeone's sides where they just seem a bit lethargic going up front, and sometimes because they set back all game, it can work against some opposition, but against others it just makes life so much easier. And I felt like they made life so easy for Chelsea. Like, you know, Chelsea aren't exactly an amazing team themselves. They're in a little bit of a transition period, new manager, and I just think, you know, going away to Madrid, they had the easiest match they could have possibly imagined, didn't they?
Yeah, I mean, they're in the Champions League. The way they play is quite well known now. Like, they're very different to how they've set up in the league. And, you know, when it worked last season where they played, you know, defensive and hoped to grab the goal on the counter against Liverpool, everyone hailed Simeone as a genius. But, you know, this time it didn't quite work out. So now it's quite like seen as anti-football, and people are saying, you know, criticising Simeone for setting up that way. But I think credit goes to Chelsea, to be honest. I think they impressed me a lot more than I expected. I figured they wouldn't really control the game as much as they did. But, you know, Tuchel set up really well to nullify Atleti's midfield, and also to like just stifle any counters they had. They won the ball back really quickly. So, yeah, I mean, credit to them. I don't know what else you guys made of the game.
I'm fucking cursed.
That's
what I'm saying, man.
What makes you say that?
Well, my prediction was that Atletico Madrid were going to have a solid 2-0 or 1-0 win, and Simeone is going to do the job. Did not happen. I was thinking, what the fuck is going on? And then Giroud scoring a wonder goal. I'm like, whoa, where the heck did this come from? You know, I'm pretty sure he's made more contributions to Chelsea than he did to Arsenal as well. What a freaking bargain that was.
Yeah, he's been class for them, and I'm quite surprised you're saying where did that come from for Giroud. The guy has worldie in him every other month, it seems like at least
in the Champions League,
a few a season. Like, he scored that overhead kick against Bayern for Arsenal. He scored plenty of overhead kicks before. You know, his scorpion kicks, his volleys. The guy's a worldie. He must have won
the Puskas Award right by now, hasn't he?
I think he won. Yeah, I think he did. I might be mistaken, but didn't that Scorpion win the Puskas?
I didn't know if that won it or Henrik Mkhitaryan did exactly the same one for Manchester United. I don't know which one won it though. I think one of them did win. I think it might be the Giroud one, which I'd be happy with, you know. So, yeah.
But not his goal, you know, ended up being the difference. And I think that's now like 2 losses on the bounce for the first time this season for Atletico Madrid. So, you know, it goes to show that your league form doesn't really translate so much into knockout competitions. And I mean, do you guys see Chelsea going, you know, very far into the competition? I'll be honest, you know, I thought the game was quite boring despite the
man,
as well.
Just get me a pillow and I would be going to sleep for the next game if that was the case. But I don't think it will be. I think Simeone, you have to come out, you have to go attacking football, you have to change something because you have to win the tie in the second leg, in my opinion. I think it'd be quite interesting.
Do you think it was Tuchel's tactics that have won it for them, or do you think Atletico Madrid was just not there? They didn't turn up.
No, I think it was a bit of both. I think Chelsea, like I said, did really well to stifle, you know, Atleti's counters. They knew what was coming, and they, you know, but sometimes, you know, knowing is one thing, you know, like you can see it coming, but stopping it is another. But they did it really well. Like, I thought the midfield was very organised in their press and the way they won back the ball, and that was without Kante even playing most of the game. You know, they had a lot of chances themselves, like a lot of half chances, a lot more than Atletico. So even with the low block that, you know, Atleti play with, Chelsea just, you know, were firing.
I think the difference was in this game was when Trippier wasn't playing because of his obviously his ban in football right now. I think that was a crucial moment, maybe because he's not played. He's there
Really?
whipping balls, and he could. Yeah, I think
I
think
thought
that was a
Lamar
key factor.
was doing a lot of that. Career was doing a lot of that. He was really pestering the
No,
defense
but
as much
I
as he
know,
could.
but when it comes to whipping a ball in, Trippier is known for that as well. And
Well, the thing is, yeah, I mean,
like,
sorry
I
to cut
think
you
that could
off,
have made a
but
difference.
yeah, you're right. I mean, it's quite a shame that Atleti had their two arguably most important players in the transitions out because Carrasco is out as well, and he provides Atleti that pace to break on the counter, doesn't he? I mean,
Yeah.
João Felix and Luis Suarez are great attackers, but they don't really complement the style of Atleti too much. Even though João Felix is starting to get used to playing under Simeone a lot more this season. But Lamar didn't really show up that game. He hardly ever does for them in the Champions League, and Llorente was played out of position. So I don't know if those
There we
players
go,
will be back. Yeah, I don't know if those players will be back for the second leg. But if they are, then it should make for a lot more of an interesting matchup. But they also had Jimenez out as well. So
You guys are definitely right to caveat the Atleti injury problems. But for me, I think I'm more sort of down on Atletico's chances than I am up on Chelsea's. I think Chelsea are a decent enough team, but when you talk about the caliber of a Champions League winner, they don't look like it. And I think even with the added, let's say tactical superiority with Thomas Tuchel being the manager over Lampard, there's still too much in the competition for them to really be. To be honest, I don't even think Chelsea could reach the semi-finals unless they get a kind enough draw. But for me, I just think that there's certain limitations to the Simeone style. Like, don't get me wrong, I do rate defensive approaches, and obviously Rafa Benitez at Newcastle. I learned pretty much how effective a defensive team can be. It doesn't always have to be boring. It means that the manager can know what he's doing. But in the Champions League, you need to have that scary attacking talent, and you need to unleash it. Like, look at the way Haaland performed. Look at the way Mbappe performed. Those signature nights. And I think that Atletico Madrid are pretty much relying on Suarez. And if he can't deliver because of their approach, then you're going to have a night like they had against Chelsea. So and as much as I want Atletico Madrid, for example, to win La Liga just for it to be fresh and different, I'm not really high on the team at the moment. Do you guys think they're set to struggle, or do you think they'll find their way into form once they get
They'll
some
find
key
their
players?
way into form. They'll be fine. I think Simeone's smart enough on his own tactics. He knows what to do to win a game as well. Obviously you'll have to go full guns blazing in this next fixture at Stamford Bridge. So we'll see. Hopefully Atletico Madrid win. Chelsea are knocked out, and that's me smiling yet again. Or I could be cursed.
no, I could see. So your question was, do you think that they'll be able to shake off this Champions League blip and the current form they're in and still maintain the title?
Just
their title push.
Yeah, their slump in general. Yeah, their current slump really.
I think Real Madrid and Barcelona are in their lowest, positions right now that they've been in like a decade or so. So I can see them. I think they've given themselves enough of a lead where they can stumble at least once, but they'll really need to correct it really quickly. And like Ali said, Simeone is the type of manager to, if you need anyone to steer the ship in the right direction, then he's that guy. Like, I'm sure he'll kick the players up their asses and get them playing again. I'd like to see it as well. I mean, when was the last time Atletico won La Liga? Was it 2013? I think
2013, 2014.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
You always like to see competition in a league. So maybe if they do crash out to Chelsea, they'll just that'll give them even more of an advantage in the league. So yeah, I'd say I could see them winning despite the rut they're in right now. But what about Chelsea? Do you guys see them going far? I know you just said that.
If Chelsea go through, are they facing Bayern? Is that whoever wins from Bayern and Lazio?
No. I mean,
No,
I'm surprised you don't know
Come
this.
on,
The
man,
Champions
down.
League.
Come on, it's a draw. You got to pick the balls up.
You got to
and
pick the ball up.
Yeah.
I'm just looking at FootMob for some reason. The way that they've done. To be honest with you, it was more inquisitive a question than stating it. For some reason, on their graphic, it says Bayern and Chelsea are next to. Obviously, that's wrong. No, that's fine.
That's mad, because I'm also looking at FootMob and it literally says next round matches are yet to be determined. But
No, in the graphic, in the graphic, it's got Bayern and Chelsea next to each other. You're looking at the same one, yeah?
Yeah, fair enough. I'll give you that. But to be honest,
you know what I mean? That technically means that they're facing. I was a bit confused as well. So yeah, in terms of Chelsea going any further, it's going to be, to be honest with you, do you remember when Chelsea won the Champions League and they beat Barcelona? I thought that team was really, really thin team that didn't have enough players of quality to do anything to get through to the final. Yeah, they proved me wrong and they won. So, and in terms of that team compared to what they have now, they're oozing with quality at the moment. It's just not solid. They're just not solid players that have got Champions League experience. For me, that's the difference. And I feel like with Manchester City, for example, they've got quality left, right, and centre. Yeah, they're finding it hard every year to get past the quarterfinals of the Champions League for the last couple of years.
Yeah.
And they're slowly building up their Champions League experience in there. And you kind of see it where they're just naturally chipping away at becoming one of the, a Champions League contender every year. Whereas Chelsea, it'll just be some luck that they'll win a couple of games in a row. That's what I see.
Sounds like
anyways.
you got your Man City top on there, Dowd.
No,
but usually, if I had to analyse it.
Yeah, I agree, Dowd. Usually I would say that you're right. You're right about Man City. They are slowly building their Champions League experience and trying to, finally capture that white whale in the Champions League trophy itself. But I think this season is, as we've seen throughout, is unique. And to be honest, when I look at the teams left in the competition, bar Bayern Munich and Manchester City themselves, I can see Chelsea being competitive against any one of the other teams, like even PSG and Real Madrid, the Champions League giants. Even if they drew them, I could see them being competitive. To be honest, I think they've got the squad and them.
All right, let's everyone take a look at the second leg then very quickly. Do you guys think Chelsea will finish the job, or is there a comeback on for Atletico Madrid? I'll give my prediction first, and I think that Chelsea will finish the job. I don't think they'll keep a clean sheet. I think Ali's right. The Atletico's going to have to come out with some attacking intent, and I think it's going to pay off because, they've got Suarez, for example, and there's still some other attacking talent. But I can just see it like being a 1-1 draw or a 2-1 victory for Chelsea, enough to see them through. What about you guys?
I think it depends on the injuries that Atletico have. I don't think any of Jimenez or Carrasco is going to be making it back for the second leg, so I think that'll give it's more of a dent in their hopes. Already 1-0 down to an away goal, and Chelsea's looked solid defensively, so yeah, I can see them finishing the job.
No, I see a comeback coming from Madrid. I don't know. I like something about this. Well, first of all, I don't want Chelsea to win another Champions League or even go through, because I don't give a stuff about them. I don't give a stuff about any other English team apart from Liverpool.
That's the difference between me and you, Ali. I always root for the English team.
I don't get that. Like if I want Liverpool to be the best in England, I want them to win everything. If someone else in England wins something, I don't care. I don't want them to win anything. I don't want Manchester United to win their freaking another Champions League title. You off your trolley?
Yeah, I agree with you there, marbles. I agree. I mean, Newcastle's about as far as you can get. Newcastle's about as far as you can get from the Champions League, and I wouldn't really want to see an English team win it, to be honest.
That's just how it is.
Yeah, but my feelings are probably because of... Do you remember that time where I think we were so far down in terms of the score to get 4 Champions League places, and there was a year or two where if the English teams didn't do well in the Champions League, we would have been relegated to only 3 Champions League spots.
Yeah, and thanks to Liverpool, that didn't happen.
Well, I mean, other teams as well, obviously.
What do you mean other teams? What other teams? Come on to me. What other teams? The last time someone won a Champions League before Liverpool in England was, Chelsea in 2012, and you even got the damn final wrong because it was meant to be Bayern Munich versus Chelsea. So get that right, because they beat Bayern Munich in their home backyard in the Allianz Arena. Dowd, man.
I was
deluded Dowd yet again. The alliteration kicking in, man. I'm loving this.
I was talking about.
I'm loving Man City, but I'm a Manchester United fan. But I'll get my blue flag out, because citizens forever. It's all right.
Man City is probably the only exception where I wouldn't actually. I'd rather see them lose. So yeah, just to clear that up. But what I'm saying is, I was just quoting the Barcelona match where they had to come back from quite a big.
Is this when Torres scored? Yeah.
And Torres scored, and Gary Neville got some live on TV. Yeah, so get your facts right in that regard. I know they won Bayern, I know they
You
were
sure?
not buying. Yeah, because I was sitting in your house, if you remember. While
No, you wasn't.
Didier
You were
Drogba
sitting in my
scored
house. I
that.
forgot
Yeah, I
about
was
that
sitting in your
one.
house.
Yeah, you
Okay,
were.
so shut up, man. Let me finish what I'm trying to say. Because there was a few.
That's class.
There's
So
a
I
few
think-
seasons where those if the English teams weren't doing better, and obviously it's not just who wins
Just
the
thank
Champions League, it's
Liverpool, man,
how
that's
far.
it.
It's how far the teams go
All right,
into
lads.
into the competition, and you get more points obviously the further you're in it. And
All right, Daud, I want to press you on the
Right.
Chelsea one. So I'm glad we got the Ali versus Daud segment 15 minutes into the podcast. Very good. I just wanted to know, so are you back in Chelsea then, based on your affinity for the English team?
oh yeah, I mean, am I backing them or do I think they will go
You
through?
sell out. You're a
I
sell
think-
out Manchester United, man.
I think the bets are still, Atletico Madrid are gonna go through, not Chelsea.
Fair enough.
All right, so we've got the takes for that one. So let's move on to the other game that happened on Tuesday, which was Bayern against Lazio, which in Rome. And, I think it was a foregone conclusion for everyone that Bayern was going to win this one, but they won it so easily. It's
Do you mean a
like,
4-1 conclusion?
yeah, they've had some defensive. A 4-1 conclusion. Thanks for the awful pun, but we'll lead with that. And in terms of Bayern Munich and Lazio, Lazio aren't a bad team. They've had a decent European pedigree for a while now. They're always in the mix in Serie A in terms of the Champions League race and things like that. They always seem to be a shade below the top dogs in Italy, though. And when it comes to the top dogs in Germany, 4-1, a lot of good football from Bayern, who themselves have had some defensive struggles. But it really, I feel like there's certain teams like Bayern Munich, when you enter the big stage, all those little frailties, they're going to fix up, aren't they? And fix up they did. They were 3-0 up in 42 minutes. Lewandowski, Musiala and Sane, and an Akabi on goal in the second half, and Correa consolation for Lazio. Is this one over, lads? Can you see any hope for Lazio
Yeah,
at
it's
all?
over. It's over.
Yeah,
But I didn't think Bayern Munich did that great. Like, I know you're praising them. Yeah, they did win 4-1, but it was down to Lazio's downfall, really. Half the goals, except the Musiala goal, who's meant to be the English Messi, who's betrayed England and went to affiliate with Germany. Now he's a German Messi. He could just be the Judas Messi. You never know. I just think it was just Lazio's downfall. They created their own mistakes, and that's it, really. And Lazio didn't capitalise on the opportunities which they had, and they should have had a penalty as well.
Oh yeah, I thought it was a penalty.
There we go.
I don't know.
It should have been reviewed at least.
Yeah, it didn't get reviewed. Lazio just didn't take the chances. I think the Bayern were open. That if Immobile or like Alberto Correa, I know Correa did score. If they had their actual boots on and were pregnant like Lukaku did like 5 years ago or whatnot, Lazio might have had a chance.
Yeah, I mean, if buts and maybes, but at the end of the day, 4-1 scored. It's hard to come back from. And Bayern Munich probably weren't even playing. I don't want to say it like they took it easy, but like you can tell that Bayern Munich probably still have another.
Gear.
Yeah, they were in third gear. I think, the return leg is probably going to be more of the same. There's not really much more to say about this one, to be honest. I mean, Lazio, like you said, we'll probably see them again in the competition next year. I'll back them to make top four again and in Serie A, even though they're not in it right now. But yeah, for now, I think this is the end of their Champions League run. No miracles in Munich.
Ali, can you tell us more about the penalty incident? Because I had more of an eye on the Chelsea match. So what actually happened?
Savage. It looked like he was outside the box initially, but then when you look closely, he was actually inside the box. He got fouled. Couldn't remember who fouled him on top of my head right now, but
What was the? Do you remember the scoreline at the time of the foul?
it was 1-0, I think it was. Or was it 2-0 maybe?
Ah, right,
It
okay,
was early
that's-
in the game.
That's pretty
Yeah.
crucial timing,
Yeah.
to be honest.
Yeah.
'Cause,
If me
you
and
never
Dad
know.
agree on something, it must mean something, because we never agree. So but like Kadama said, if ifs and buts and whatnot, at the end of the day, Lazio got spanked. It looks like the Anglo-Saxons. They came to Rome and they conquered the Colosseum. That's the way it looked.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
Definitely.
yeah. I think that's a good roundup.
What do you guys think of Musiala as a talent? Do you think he's going to be sort of like on the Sancho level of hype and the Foden level of hype? Because we don't really get as much exposure to him, given that he doesn't play in the Premier League. But it seems that when you sort of check Bayern's performances, he seems to be doing well, and he's still an incredibly young player. Do you guys think he's got that top tier talent?
Compare him to the
status?
English young starlets anymore. You'll have to compare him to the German starlets. Will he be even getting past those German starlets?
Yeah, I suppose. But
Dad's the type of guy, like,
I mean,
if
that's a
you
good
don't
point.
make in the Premier
Well-
League, you're not a good enough player. That's what it does.
No,
So,
he raises a fair point though, because now that he's declared for Germany, you've got to look at the German youths and can you get ahead of them? I actually think that even though Germany as a national team much more successful than England, probably got even a better talent pool at the moment, but in terms of the attacking positions, it feels like maybe there's more coming through the ranks in an England shirt than there is in a German shirt, and that probably influenced the decision to change the national.
Well,
allegiance.
wasn't it said that he chose Germany over England because he feared that he wouldn't get much playing time for England? Like you said, the attack for England right now is quite stacked. Maddison, Grealish, Foden, Saka, and Greenwood, and Rashford, and Sterling, Kane, and who's he going to start ahead of? And like you say, Germany's probably not as stacked, so he sees more of a potential there. And he said it himself, he feels attachment for both places, so it's probably just a decision based on pragmatism, really, rather than
I think he was born in Germany, so like I kind of see why he went for Germany as well, even though he came to England when he was young. So, and if he has opportunity to play in Germany, which Germany's always been a superior team in England majority of the time, and they have more opportunities of winning trophies as well. So I kind of see the logical side to things.
Yeah, definitely. But I mean, I can't really judge him much on his ability. Like, I haven't really watched him much, so I have to be quite honest on that.
One player I'm pleased for is Leroy Sané, though, in terms of talking about Bayern Munich, because obviously the ACL injury that he had when the speculation was rife he was going to leave Man City forced him to stay at Man City for a year. He probably didn't want to, and it takes a while to get your game back from an injury like that. So I just think, to be honest, at full flight, he's one of the most fun players you can ever watch. He's got such a fluid style of dribbling, takes on players like it's nothing, and he grabbed himself a goal. I think he assisted the other one of them, didn't he? If I'm not mistaken, it was a really nice assist for one of them.
I think he did, or it led to an own goal. I couldn't remember which one it was now, because man, I was just disappointed last year.
Yeah, I think it was Sané that led to the own goal by was it by Achabi? I think.
Yeah. So I think.
Yeah, he pulled it.
So I think even though I think some Bayern fans were a bit lukewarm on the way they were looking at Sané, because he didn't really light it on fire when he first stepped into the team. But I think over the coming months, he's probably going to have a bigger impact on a team than Kingsley Coman and Serge Gnabry, who were on fire last year during the run. Gnabry especially, do you guys feel like he's just totally fallen off? When was the last time you heard about him doing anything notable?
Who, Gnabry?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I read quite a bit of comments about the Bundesliga, and a lot of people said that he was kind of a Cristiano Ronaldo light in that he really always turned up in the Champions League. Like, he seemed to love that competition, but then on the domestic front, he can, go missing at times or be quite inconsistent. So maybe he's just having that period in the season where he's just in a bit of a lull. I mean, he's still doing all right, and Bayern Munich are, probably still favourites. Well, they are favourites for the league. He's probably just a bit out of form, but I don't think it's anything major to worry about for Bayern Munich. Like.
Oh yeah, of course not with their talent level. So in terms of this match, I'll give the final word for Ali on Lazio. Obviously, we all don't think they're going to go through in the second leg, but do you think that they'll make up for it in the league? Can you see them securing a Champions League spot next year?
I don't know. Serie A is really, it's very strange and very tight as well, because you got Inter at top. Initially, we all thought AC Milan were going to win Serie A because they were rolling everyone through with Zlatan and his freaking nose. But then Lukaku went in beast mode. It was like, fuck you, Zlatan. I'm just going to take Serie A. You never know. CR7's just going to start celebrating, just start scoring goals left, right, and centre. His son might pop out somewhere. I just don't know. And then, Roma are doing all right. I think they will currently win right now in the Europa League. And Lazio can be in the mix. They're currently 6th, I think it were, last time I checked. And you have Atalanta and Napoli as well in there. So it's tight. It could go any of those teams.
Really
tight.
No,
I agree. To be honest with you, it's in terms of I'm just looking at the table very quickly for you. And 6th, 5th, 4th, and 3rd are separated by just 2 points. Lazio are 6th, but if they win a game, they'll be in 3rd. So it's one of those situations
within a game.
So we'll see how it goes for the Rome side. Now, I do want to give a quick apology for last week, because we were previewing the matches and totally skipped over the Wednesday games, Atalanta, Real Madrid and Mönchengladbach, Man City. But, we'll get into them now. So we'll start with Atalanta, Real Madrid. Heading into this one, I would say that it was a bit, you'd always think traditionally Real Madrid is going to be the favourites for this match. But they're not in the best shape right now. They've got a couple of key injuries, Sergio Ramos and Benzema most notably. And Atalanta have been playing decently enough. Obviously, they lost Gomez in the January transfer window because of a lack of squad harmony between him and Gasperini. But they still carry a threat. But how much of a threat can you carry when you get a red card 17 minutes in? So the first question I want to table to you guys, and Dowd, I'm sure you saw this incident. Did you think it was a red card on the Atalanta defender?
Well,
Remo Frueler.
I was trying to see, if he was the last man and he did impede a goal scoring opportunity. I think that far down the pitch, it is a goal scoring opportunity. But in terms of it being a really last person type of tackle, is it a red card straight away? Would you not review VAR, which the ref, he already made his decision. He pulled it out quicker than, do you know what I mean? Sometimes you see the ref and he's like patting around and everything, and he's like, oh, is it still? He's thinking about it. This ref straight away pulled out the red card, and I was thinking, oh, okay, there's some conviction in this. In terms of a challenge, to be honest with you, if he got a yellow card, I don't think anybody in the pitch would have complained, and that's what maybe is why people are saying, oh, is it really a red card? Is it, what's the basis of it? And I think in this case, maybe in the letter of the law, it might be a red card, but I would have given it a yellow. I think both teams would have been happy if it was a yellow.
To be honest, that's a really fair assessment. I honestly couldn't disagree with a single thing that you said, because...
Oh, that's the second person who agrees with this.
I agree again.
Yeah, because, for me, thinking about it from the referee's perspective, he really was last man. And I know that Ferland Mendy isn't like Cristiano Ronaldo bombing down on goal, but it's still, what they call it is denial of a goal-scoring opportunity. You have to consider that as such. From a footballing level, I think every other player on the pitch probably sympathised with Frueler for it and thought, if it was a friendly match, you probably wouldn't want to see the red card because it would just ruin the friendly.
It kind of sucked the energy out of the game as well, didn't it? So
it did,
yeah. Exactly. You want a showpiece match, and you didn't get a showpiece match, unfortunately. So, Khudama, I don't know if you've got any differing opinions on that one. Do you think it was wrong to send him off, or are you in agreement with the rest of us?
I'm mostly in agreement. I am on, Kieran on the side of saying it was quite harsh. I wouldn't, like Dowd said, if a yellow came out, no one would be complaining. I think a lot of people's, grievance with the red card is that it came so soon in the game. Say that card came at, in the second half, in the 70th minute, a lot more people maybe... they don't feel quite as robbed of a spectacle as they were, because that game was probably the most one that was predicted to have goals in it. Atalanta are known for their free scoring games now for quite a few years, and Real Madrid are probably as weak as they've ever been in the Champions League in quite some time. So a lot of people were expecting goals, and then the red card came. So I don't know, maybe people were a bit more annoyed that they were robbed of a good game.
Yeah.
They were robbed of a good game, and it, I thought by the 80th minute, there's probably not going to be a goal in this, being a little draw, and it took them 86 minutes for Real Madrid to break them down. So if anything, Atalanta are even more worse done by that. They thought, okay, at least our defensive issues, we'll try and scrape through a 0-0 and go to Real Madrid.
Yeah, if you're going to be one man down from the 17th minute to concede just the one goal, and it was a left back from the outside from his wrong side, from his weak foot, with a shot from outside the box, you're going to be probably happier than you would be when the red card first came, because you're probably fearing the floodgates would open. But I think that there's another discussion there, because Real Madrid's supporting cast for Benzema, it seems to be really weak, doesn't it? I mean, you think of this lineup of Asensio, Isco, and Vinicius Jr. It's not a very scary lineup, is it? If that front three was playing against Newcastle in the league, I wouldn't even be that scared. They'll probably win and they'll probably score.
But the midfield to supplement them.
No, I'm talking about. Yeah, but I'm talking about the front three. The midfield.
In this case, Modric and Kroos would be as pivotal to their attacking forefront as the front three would be.
You're thinking too much into it. He's saying take that front three and put them in a different team.
He's talking about the
attack. Put them in a different team.
Midfield.
Yeah. Fair. Sorry, carry on.
Yeah, I'm not. No, that's fine. All I'm saying is, obviously, they probably could still beat us and score a couple of goals, but for the Champions League standard, lining up with Vinicius Asensio, who's all right, and Isco obviously is a decent player, but it doesn't surprise me that none of them scored and it took the left back to get the goal. Do you guys think that unless Benzema's playing, that Real Madrid have absolutely no chance, or do you think even with Benzema, they've got no chance to win the competition this year?
Nah, they've got no chance to win the competition.
I think they have a chance.
I think they have a chance. It's Real Madrid we're talking about.
Yeah.
No, I think this is, they're quite far down in the list of favourites to win Champions League. You said it earlier in the podcast. The Champions League really usually requires elite attacking, moments of magic. Players like Haaland and Mbappe have shown that, in this round. But, players down in the years before have shown it. And really, this Real Madrid team has shown nothing about them. I watched the Barcelona game as well before those ties. And it's honestly like mind-boggling just how quickly the top of football has changed in the last few years. Those two teams just in attack just look like they don't carry any threat at all.
Yeah, but you need to remember that Real Madrid got a lot of their players, they got them on loan or they've got rid of them as well, and then they couldn't bring anyone in due to financial reasons because of the coronavirus. And Eden Hazard doesn't turn up.
That's true.
He's like in
is
those
that
tapas.
is that
What can you say?
is that likely to change? Throughout the rest of the season? Not really. And for that reason, I wouldn't really put them as anywhere near favourites, to be honest. So it's.
I just can't rule Real Madrid out. That's it.
They'll
I
go
would put
far.
them as favourites, but I wouldn't rule them out.
Yeah, of course. It's in a cup competition. Actually, look at Chelsea in 2012. They were probably not really. In a season that Messi scored 91, in a calendar year that Messi scored 91 goals. So they still beat Barcelona and didn't concede to Messi. So in a cup competition, you can't rule anything out. But at the same time, the odds are not with Real Madrid, I would say.
Yeah. To be fair to Dowd, I think when you mentioned the midfield, you're right. It's an absolutely incredible midfield, isn't it? Modric is still as strong as ever in his old age. I think he's either 35 or 36 at this point. And Toni Kroos and Casemiro, of course, are still incredibly influential. So, yeah, if that midfield three was actually supplemented by a decent attacking lineup, you probably would give Real Madrid the edge over everyone, I would say. Because defensively speaking, Varane's had a bit of a fall-off. Obviously, he had that bad Champions League performance against Man City last season when they got knocked out. But when you pair him alongside Ramos, again, the defence can look steady. And but yeah, I think there's just too many things that have gone wrong for Real Madrid. Obviously, they've had their success when Ronaldo was there with all those Champions League victories. So I'm not going to bring out the violins for them at all. But in terms of their prospects, I really don't see them very very high. Now we'll head into the last match, which is Manchester City against Borussia Mönchengladbach. And in terms of the
Before
prospects,
we do you not want to talk about the second leg with that?
Oh yeah, of course. Sorry. Thanks for the reminder. Yeah, let's give the quick predictions then. So, can Atalanta turn it around? I'll say no. I think home advantage for Real Madrid. They'll possibly have a couple of players back from injury, and Atalanta have got a tough task really. I think Atalanta will score, but I can see a game. I can actually see the fun match being that one.
Yeah,
I can see it being like 3-2 to Real Madrid or 4-3 to Real Madrid, something like that.
I agree, and I think if they get inspired by the manager and they put an inspiring performance in. Like Zapata comes on and just absolutely bosses everybody. They'll have a chance then. But apart from that, it'll just be a normal job for Zidane's team to get it over the line.
No, I'm going to back Atalanta to make a turnaround here. I think Real Madrid really didn't show anything impressive to me. You talked about their midfield, but really, what did they do against 10 men for the majority of the game? Barely created any chances for their forwards. And Atalanta are the kind of team that will probably have no fear. Like, if they lose, they lose. They're the underdogs anyway. So they'll probably head into the Bernabeu with a lot less riding on their shoulders, and maybe that can favour them. Gasperini did say they were going to go to the Bernabeu to win. So, I'll definitely be tuning into that one because I think they're going to make a game of it for sure.
Not the three of a kind here. I agree with Jaffa and Dowd and just say Madrid are European royalty, man. I can't see Atlanta coming back in there. They've got spanked by Liverpool 5-0 when they had a strong team out. So what can you really say? Like, Real Madrid are going to win. They're going to go through. That's it.
All right, so we'll see if Khodema can get the bragging rights. It's been a fun little dynamic between us. It's always fun to disagree a bit on these results and the predictions. So we will definitely head into the final match there, which was Borussia Mönchengladbach against Manchester City in a neutral venue. And it's Manchester City's 19th win in a row in all competitions. Obviously, it tells you what sort of form they've been on, what sort of run, the confidence level. Everything's going rosy for Pep after a difficult season last season. I know, Dowd, that you watched this match.
Dowd's favourite team.
What did you make of the? What did you make of the performance for one of your favourite teams against Borussia Mönchengladbach?
Probably the most convincing performance. That Manchester City were absolutely dominating in everything. I think the only real chance that Gladbach had was right at the end, just before the final whistle, where I think it's Wolf nearly scored. He just come on as a sub, and he couldn't get it in the corner as much as he wanted to, and Edison made a save. Now, yeah, they were lucky that they didn't score more goals. Will that be their downfall? Manchester City, they're going on a good run, but they do this sometimes where they should have won it in the previous match, and then the next match comes along and they get bit in the arse, basically. And I think in this case, there could be a chance that they do get bit in the arse. And it was a lovely goal from Bernardo Silva. It was a header, a nice curled ball in from Cancelo. Cancelo was playing this weird hybrid role of a wing back midfielder, changing it up, trying to overlap his one-on-one man marking defender to try and make some more space on the wings for overlapping runs from. So it was basically he was swapping positions, and in the mix-up of the one-on-one defending that Gladbach were doing, that little 1 or 2 seconds of people catching up to their player, there was space opening. Now I felt like Man City didn't actually use that and utilize that space. They did it their own way, where naturally they just break teams down. A lot of possession football, a lot of shots on target. Man City at its best. Just I don't know if they'll regret not scoring more goals that they could have.
In this particular tie, I think that they can get away with it. Maybe against the more illustrious opposition, they might come to regret it. But one thing I did want to ask everyone, do you guys think that Borussia Mönchengladbach, because Marco Rose is basically going to be the Dortmund manager next, do you think he's sort of checked out, or his squad's checking out?
Yeah.
Because, how motivated can you be playing for a manager who you know is going to leave soon?
Pretty much that. What you just said, how can you be motivated? There's maybe a project there. Mönchengladbach, the last time they went to a European competition like this, a high standard was like in 1977 or 1978 when they played Liverpool in the final or something, and they lost. And they have good players, and it's about building the future. And since Marco Rose is been a side years and he's buzzing off to Dortmund, where can the motivation be? He's just got to do his job for the rest of the season, and he's gonna have Haaland, Sancho. He's gonna have some good players with him. So why does he give us stuff right now? I wouldn't be motivated. Oh yeah, I've got to do a professional job. Yeah, I see that, but you know where your future is. So what's the point? And the players would be like, what the heck's going on?
I agree.
So, yeah.
It must be especially demoralising for the fans as well, especially when, you put yourself in a nice position qualifying for the knockout stages. You get a difficult tie anyway.
What a quality manager, though.
And a very good manager. And I'm sure that Dortmund will reap the benefits. Not that Borussia Mönchengladbach fans are going to be reassured to hear that. I've got another question, which is João Cancelo, either the best right-back in the Premier League right now, or even go as far as to say the best right back in the world right now, or is that too much of a
left back?
Too much of a claim?
It's hard to say because I can't even say he's a right back at this stage.
Yeah, right back, left back, centre mid, centre half, whatever on the wing in the half space.
He played left back
all those positions.
against Gladbach. Yeah, but usually plays on the right. But Walker was doing that job. I feel like he's just a weaker version of Walker. What Walker brings is what Pep wants for every single wing back: the pace, the strength, the ability to float the ball in, the ability to fizz it on the ground into the box, the ability to smash a ball, and Cancelo is all that, just not as much physical as Walker. Yet he has that the Portuguese finesse to him. Do you know what I mean? Like the dribbling, the flair, the way he can pop a ball into the box, which Walker does not have. He's that straight on English. Smash the ball in. There's no chic touch.
There's no finesse. Yeah. No, to be honest, you're right. I think in terms of watching Pep teams, I'm always fascinated by how he uses the fullbacks. He almost uses them with such free positioning. Like, if your fullback wants to tuck into the midfield to support them, he can. If he wants to make the underlap, the overlap, he can. If he wants to be the guy leading them on the dribble, he can. It's just a really interesting thing. That I think that's why sometimes people criticize Guardiola, say that he's a checkbook manager. But if he was to be a checkbook manager, he might as well be the best at it, and he really is. Like, the way he manages to utilize the top tier talent and get them to play some scintillating stuff is probably why I've always never really subscribed to the opinion where people say Man City are boring to watch.
Yeah, I
Maybe
agree.
their domination can get boring
You don't see it with other
from a
managers.
competitive point of view. Yeah, not at all. Like he just elevates his team's levels, doesn't he, in terms of how they play as a unit.
Well,
Yeah, I mean,
he's-
I see other changes in other managers. Sorry, Ali. I see other changes
That's
in
fine.
other managers, and I just don't see it. There's something about what Pep does with his players that is different, yet effective. And other managers do some things. You know, one example might be, you know, when we used Fellaini as a striker, and Mourinho was putting the ball up. And to be honest with you, the amount of times he did it, I would say the percentage of success was probably only 5 to 10% where that actually worked. Whereas I feel like a lot of the stuff that Pep does actually works. Like there's some effectiveness.
Yeah,
Sorry,
but Pep's
Ali,
a
you can carry
crazy
on.
madman, though, isn't he? Like one day he'll just do something. It'll be genius. You know, everyone like Guardiola's a freaking genius, but then he'll do something crazy, and then it'll make him look so stupid. It's just like experimenting and.
Well, that's the
you
game,
know,
isn't it?
experimenting- Yeah, that's it. You know, that's what Guardiola's been doing. You know, and you were talking about, you know, the best player in that position. Guardiola did create the best player in that position in the world right now, but he's playing midfield right now. It's Joshua Kimmich.
Yeah, if
In my
you do it,
opinion,
you're
you
a
put-
genius. If you do it and it fails, you know, you're
Yeah.
just not up. You're not up to the scratch.
You put
of,
Kimmich in that position, he'll
yeah.
probably do better than
Oh, yeah.
Cancelo.
But
So-
Kimmich has had, you know, he was a DM. He's played as centre mid. Now he's
Well,
he
yeah, that was
fits
his
those,
preferred
he fits those
position when
areas.
Philip
Yeah.
Lahm was playing. No, that's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
So Guardiola molded him to like the era of Philip Lahm. You know,
Yeah.
so it's quite amazing what Guardiola does do. Even though, you know, I give him some stick sometimes, but you know he's a quality manager, and you gotta give the credit he deserves sometimes.
Yeah, but do you not think?
No, I mean,
Jeff, with players nowadays, not just with Pep's players, yeah, just players nowadays. You hear about this a lot. Oh, a player was coming up and he was actually originally a striker, and now he's a centre, you know, like a centre back. And
Yeah.
do you not think a lot of players nowadays actually have the dribbling ability, actually have even the shooting ability that they would, and they're just more reclined to the area that the manager wants, and obviously. You know, then they just become accustomed to it because.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's a very fair point, especially at the top level, like the very, very top level. I think these academy kids are now being coached in a way to try and make their skill set as complete as possible. Whereas maybe back in the day, an academy kid would come through, a coach would look, oh, he's really good at tackling, he's really good at heading. Let me focus on him being a no-nonsense centre-back.
Yeah.
Whereas now, even if you've got like a larger physical profile, the coaches are going to be like, well, you're going to need to work on your technique, you're going to need to work on your speed, your footwork. And I think one example of that is Niklas Süle.
Oh,
And
yeah.
you probably noticed it, Ali, since you watched the match. There was a lot of funny comparisons saying that Niklas Süle was going on some ridiculous, amazing dribbles that you'd expect from like a top class winger. Was that true?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah.
Yeah, what can you say? You know, like what Dowd said. You know, like I've agreed with him so many times today, which was very freaking strange. You know, like
Same here, you know. This is one of the weirdest podcasts
yeah, it
I've ever
is.
done.
You know, with the example he was bringing in, what came to mind was Steven Gerrard when he played right back at first when he had to come into the team, and then obviously he played right back for a couple of seasons, and he got put in midfield because that was his preferred position, and opening came in there, and the same thing happened with Alexander-Arnold. You know, like yeah, he's putting right back, but is like his position is midfield. So you know you've got to fit them somewhere at least. You know what I mean, to get them into the team. But you know, Guardiola's just the best at it. You know, Klopp's not far behind, but yeah, what can you say, man? You got to give that guy
Yeah.
credit. That's
Well,
it.
we've been very complimentary towards Man City so far, and
Fuck
I
'em.
know that Ali, you gave us the other you gave us the other side of the coin about saying times he overthinks games and over experiments. So I did want to ask Khodema on this one. In light of how much that Man City, you know, have been under fire for over experimenting and losing winnable Champions League ties in recent seasons, especially the Lyon match last year.
Oh yeah.
Do you think that this is the year that Guardiola will learn his lesson? Can you see them at least making the final, if not winning the
Make
competition
sure they get
outright?
the semi-finals first, not the final.
I mean, do you know that old saying like strikers win games but defenses win titles? I feel like it's
Yeah.
the opposite in knockout competitions where, you know, strikers are probably the ones that win you the competition. So if I was to, you know, I would put Man City as, you know, favourites or at least up there. And I can definitely, you know, see them making the final for sure. I definitely think Guardiola's finally learned from. I don't want to say finally learned that, the man's won Champions Leagues before, but like I feel like he's probably
Barcelona,
found. Yeah, true, but it seems like he's finally
Messi.
found the right balance at Man City. Like, yes, this team doesn't look as offensively impressive as they were a few years ago when they had Sané and Sterling was playing a lot better, but they look a lot more balanced, a lot more, a lot more solid defensively. But if they do come up against a team that knows how to stifle their attack, I kind of do struggle to see where the goals might come from. Someone in their attack can just grab the game by the scruff of its neck. So that's probably my only concern for them. Sterling's probably out of form. Doesn't look like he's regaining it at this point. And Gabriel Jesus he was brought in to be Aguero's replacement. Maybe he's more of a winger, hybrid striker.
Yeah.
And Aguero hasn't scored a league goal in over a year, so that'll probably be my only concern for them. But I would like to see them win it. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, not like to see them win it, but I'd like to see Guardiola. I do want Guardiola. I feel like he's been disrespected a bit too much recently, so I'd be happy for Guardiola to win it. I'd be happy for Guardiola to win it.
No.
But I wouldn't be upset if they lost it. No, I know I'm contradicting. No, I know I'm contradicting myself a bit because I did say I don't really want any English teams to win it. But my point is,
Liverpool still have a chance. Half the team's freaking gone. Right, that's what I'm saying.
I can't take Kodama seriously anymore now.
What the heck, man?
No, I just meant for Guardiola's
Sterling's out of it. Sterling scored a header against Arsenal.
Yeah,
what, is he 5'7"?
That's Arsenal.
How did he
out of form? He's still out of form.
Arsenal. To be fair, it is out. Yeah, it is Arsenal.
But then he's
compared to his form, what he had.
Yeah.
So what do you think? For Man City going to win the tie then? Just go ahead.
No,
yeah,
I think Mönchengladbach might win it.
Is that a hope or expectation though?
A bit of both.
I hope Gladbach win it, but realistically, I think it's going to be Man City.
Man City,
I don't know.
Man City will
I think Dowd's turned to the blue side of Manchester when he wants. Since Manchester United are not in the Champions League. Like, I support Man City right now. Let's talk about great Man City. Let's talk about great Pep Guardiola. Fuck Guardiola. Right,
I never said he was great.
Okay, but Ali, I'd be honestly surprised. I'll be happy for you if Gladbach even score one goal in the rest of this tie. To be honest,
I'll be happy for myself too. I'm cursed, man. So
I
want Man City to win.
I'm just saying, any goal digger, which Pep Guardiola is pretty much a goal digger. Anybody can look good, and with Pep, obviously he's
anyone goes to Manchester United's a goal digger as well. I don't know what you're on about.
Good at times. Sorry.
I don't know what you're on about. Anyone who goes to Manchester United's a goal digger as well. 80 million quid Harry Maguire, Paul Pogba record-breaking signings and all sorts, and then getting the high wages or whatnot. De Gea, Sanchez on £500,000 a week on wages or whatever. And, come on, man, down, man. You can't be talking about goal diggers. Look, you want to talk about goal diggers? Let's get Kanye West on a damn freaking podcast.
I wouldn't mind that, to be honest with you.
I wouldn't mind that. To be freaking interesting, wouldn't it?
Yeah. And I'll give a final word on the Man City sort of situation. For me, I think most of the time you talk about a team needing to shape up tactically to win the competition. All I think they need to do is get some fitness into De Bruyne and Aguero. If De Bruyne and Aguero are lining up in these ties in the advanced stages, I just can't see how Man City can be stopped. And yeah, Guardiola can do those weird lineups from time to time, but I think finally the pieces have fell into place. Like there's a lot of teams not at their highest. Mm-hmm. I'd like to see a Bayern Man City final. That's the way I look at it.
I'd love to see Bayern just spank them left, right, and centre. But in all seriousness, if Guardiola does actually want to win the Champions League, he just needs to keep things simple. Don't overcomplicate things. That's all. He is a genius, but then he does some crazy ass shit and he shoots himself right in the foot. If you want to win it, just don't overcomplicate stuff. That's it.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I think that's a pretty
it's
fitting
football.
Summary. Yeah,
that's it.
No, that's a pretty fitting summary, and we'll let Ali have the final word on in terms of the football analysis. And as always, we'll get Daud to wrap us up in terms of telling us a bit more about the latest events with the podcast and where you can follow us.
Yeah. So. Sorry, did you want Ali to wrap this up?
No, sorry. I was just saying.
No, he wrapped up like a doner kebab, man. Come on, hurry up.
Sorry.
It's past my bedtime.
All right, okay. So, like always, guys, you can find us on all the major hosting platforms for podcasts: Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. But also follow us on our Facebook group, The Dressing Room, where we post whenever we release our new episode. That's probably the best place to go to. Follow us on YouTube, like, comment, and subscribe, and share it with your friends as well. So yeah, that's and family, obviously, and obviously you've got Instagram as well, the Dressing Room 9, and
Thanks very much,
Twitter
guys.
for TD Room 9. So yeah, thank you everybody.
Brilliant.
Take care.
Take care.
Take care, bye.
Bye.